Yeah, we continue on the Thursday edition of Bickley Marotta Mornings. Suns have an opportunity to bail some of that water out tonight with the Atlanta Hawks in town. We'll see if they can bounce back. Here to talk Suns basketball with us and the NBA, we're joined by the Hall of Famer, the one and only Charles Barkley, for the first time via video. Chuck, you got to look at us this morning. How are you, man?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me. How you guys doing?
Charles, you are one handsome man, my brother.
Well, it's because I'm in makeup. I got 4 days of Capital One shoots going right now with Sam and Spike and Magic and Kareem and the guys. We got 4 12-hour days getting ready for March Madness.
Wow.
So I got a busy week coming up. Yeah, we start shooting. We shoot about 5 or 6 commercials for March Madness. So
And
I
they're
got
great.
I got 4 straight 12-hour days.
And yet you made time for us. We appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
Charles.
Chuck.
All right, let's start with the big question. In your mind, I mean, we were beside ourselves yesterday after the Suns put out that effort or lack thereof against Charlotte. What are you seeing from the Phoenix Suns right now? What are you not seeing from the Phoenix Suns?
Why you guys got me on? Y'all can play the same tape that I said to you guys last year. I said this team got no mental toughness. They just play basketball. I'm not. They don't have a style of play, but the main thing, they got zero mental toughness. They just play basketball. They don't, like I say, it's they threw Frank Vogel under the bus. Now they bought in Budenholzer. It's the same. It's like watching the same bad movie that I've been watching for like the last 3 years. They got some very talented players, but they got no mental toughness, no mental focus. I watched them play the Portland Trail Blazers about 2 weeks ago. I watched the whole game, and I said, Portland had lost like 10 games in a row, and the Suns picked it up and won it in the fourth quarter. I'm like, they should have won this game in the first half. Portland didn't want to play, but they had to go down the stretch and win. And I was like, come on, man. When you're playing against a bad team, just come out and stomp them and get it over with.
Yeah.
They had lost 10 in a row. But they're in trouble. They got to do something. I don't know what that one thing is going to be because Bradley Beal is holding all the cards.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish I could. Like, they got to do something because it's not. This movie gonna end badly again.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Charles. They made so many adjustments and additions to things that we thought they needed: a new coach, a new vibe, a new point guard, better depth, and yet they still have no on-court leadership. The hard questions that I think have to be asked are: is Kevin Durant a drain on culture when you're trying to build that kind of we're on a mission? And what has happened to Devin Booker in light of being that number one kind of guy? What do you see when you look at the leadership void on the court with this team?
Well, leadership is not. They don't have a Mark West type person. They don't have a Dan Marley. You're like just really tough guys. They got some really good players. Like, the one thing your best players have to be is tough mentally. You just can't go and play basketball because you have to hold the other guys accountable. They don't have that. Kevin's a great player. Kevin's a great player, but he doesn't want to be a leader. He said that. He said, I just want to play basketball. Well, it's not that simple when you're the best player. There's a tremendous amount of responsibility that goes with that. I said to you guys last year, maybe it could be, maybe Devin could be that guy. But I think Devin's a hell of a player. But I think he's just too nice of a guy. Also, he doesn't hold the other guys accountable. So I think that's why they really want to get Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy's not going to have none of this stuff going around here.
Right. It's true.
Yeah, it's true. Charles Barkley is our guest here on Bickley and Marotta Mornings. You led me right where I was going, the Jimmy Butler situation in Miami. And Bick and I were talking about it earlier today. Jimmy Butler has earned his reputation as a playoff warrior. He's a hard-nosed guy. He can be difficult at times. But do you think, Charles, that reputation is preventing him from getting the amount of criticism maybe he should be getting? Because he's basically quit on the Miami Heat.
100%. I don't like the way Jimmy's handled this entire situation. Listen, and he messing with the wrong guy. Pat Riley let Dwayne Wade go. He like, I'm not paying. The thing that bothers me about Jimmy's making $50 million this year and next year. So the Miami Heat have been great to him. You just saw the same thing play out with Klay Thompson. The Warriors are like, yeah, we thank you for everything, but we're not going to pay an old guy a max contract. Pat Riley did it with Dwayne Wade. He's like, hey, I love you, Dwayne. I appreciate everything you did for the organization, but I'm not going to pay an old guy a lot of money. And I'm not sure why Jimmy's mad. He's making $50 million this year and next year, over $50 million both years. So the Heat have done right by him. But the notion that they have to extend him and pay him another $50, $60 million a year when he's going to be past his prime, that's crazy. And he's not handled this the right way. But if this, but see, the caveat to this thing is, man, Bradley Beal, unless he agrees to the trade, there's nothing the Suns can do.
Nope.
Not a
No
damn
doubt.
thing about it.
Now, if you were a player at the highest level, so I know you know how players think. If you're Bradley Beal, how do you feel about getting benched? Now, you've been talking about this long before any issue about Jimmy Butler came up, that Bradley Beal, there's positional overlap with Devin Booker. He should be coming off the bench. You said this years ago. But when you look at the fact that the Suns are benching him ostensibly to get him to relent on that no trade clause, how does a player interpret that? Is Bradley Beal angry? Should he be angry? What's the best play for him?
Well, Dan, I'm glad you get, because I said, hey, listen, them three can't play together. They should have been bringing Bradley Beal off the bench a couple years ago. Now they're doing it to be petty. And listen, you can be as petty as you want to. There's nothing they can do. Now they're just being petty. They should have. Now, if they had been doing this for the last couple years, I think the team would have had more success, especially when they brought in a real point guard. Because then Brad can come in and get all the shots he wants, and then they can finish the game together. But now they're just doing it to be petty. And if I'm Bradley Beal, you know what I'm going to do, Dan? I'm going to be petty back at him.
One of the things that nobody here wants to do, because you know Suns fans better than anybody, we're so starving for that championship. And looking at a rebuild in the face is obviously very, very painful. But you know the league. You know how many young players are and how much the Suns need some youthful energy. At what point in time, and what would it take to look that in the face and say, now is the time to blow this up and start the rebuild? Is there a time for that?
Well, they're right at the time, to be honest with you, Dan, because you have to look at this in the big picture. Let's say, hypothetically, you bring in Jimmy Butler. First of all, he's going to want a contract extension. And the big elephant in the room that nobody's talking about, they've got to make a decision on Kevin Durant, who's an older player. Because, he only got one more year left on his contract. So then you say, wow, I'm going to have two older players making $70, $80 million. Devin Booker's a high-paid guy. We got to win the championship in the next couple of years because guys only get older. I mean, the one thing I know about old people, they don't get better, they just get older. I always laugh when you see older players get hurt and people say, well, when he gets better. I says, well, the only thing older people are going to do is die. They ain't going to get better.
And once they die, once they die, you don't go visit.
Hey, guys, especially in sports, you don't get better in sports as you get older. You just die on the court. No, but man, I really want to see. I really root for the Sixers. Dan, Vince, every time I come on y'all's show, so people send me some of these clowns y'all have on top of, I hate the Suns. Nobody want to see the Suns win more than me. But The criticism I've always had for the Suns, number one, have been true. They've been true. And listen, I ain't never lied about a team or a player on television in my 25 years. I'm going to get on here and tell the truth. I want to see the Suns do well. But man, that team is so soft.
Yep.
It's frustrating for me to watch
Yeah.
because Kevin Durant's a great player. Devin Booker's a great player. Bradley Beal's been a great player. To have those three players and get swept, they got swept. I'm like, come on, man. Don't tell me how good you are if you're getting swept. And one stat that I'm very proud of in my career, I never got swept in a 4-game series. I'm very proud of that fact because that's humiliating. It's embarrassing. I got swept one time in a best of 5 by the Knicks, but all 3 of those games went down to the buzzer. But I never got swept in a 4-game series. I've never been down 3-0. I've never been down 3-0. But that Suns team last year was embarrassing. And then they threw Frank Vogel under the bus. Just like the Lakers, that crappy team they got, they threw 2 coaches under the bus. You know, I said on the show the other night, the reason I don't like the Lakers, okay, they threw Frank Vogel under the bus, which is the new NBA trend when the players aren't worth a dime and don't care because they make so much money. They threw Frank Vogel under the bus. Then they threw Russell Westbrook under the bus. Then they threw Darvin Ham under the bus. Then they threw D'Angelo Russell under the bus. Now they got now all of a sudden they come in there like, oh, we're gonna be no, y'all stink. Y'all just lost to the Mavs. Y'all just lost to the Mavs without. Come on, man. Y'all lost to the Mavs without Kyrie and Luka by 20. And it's the same thing with these Suns. It's always somebody else's fault. No, it's the coach's fault. No, it's the player's fault. And at some point, these players got to look in the mirror. I mean, who else y'all gonna get? Y'all gonna y'all gonna go get Phil Jackson next year?
You are the best. You are just the best, Charles.
Charles, thanks so much for making time for us today.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing those Capital One spots when they come out.
Hey man, they do a great job. I cannot wait. We add Magic. We had Magic the last couple of years and Jen Gardner for the last 5 or 6 years. This year we have in Kareem. So I'm really excited about that, man. It's gonna be awesome, guys. And hey, I love you guys, man. Thanks for having me.
Likewise,
Thanks,
Charles.
Right back at you, Charles Barkley, the Hall of Famer, joining us here on Bickley and Marotta Mornings.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.